Get connected, Fitchburg. We're launching Fitchburg Connect, the city's new monthly e-newsletter that keeps you informed about all the events, services, and updates that matter to you. Get it in your inbox once a month. Our first edition is live now. Sign up today to get Fitchburg Connect.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Good evening, everyone, to the Fitchburg Common Council meeting for May 12, 2026. The first thing is to call to the order to the meeting at 6:30 p.m. Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. So next is roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Radafrada.
Here.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Here.
Alder Gerhardt.
Here.
Alder Herbst.
Here.
Alder Jetzer.
Here.
Alder Latase.
Here.
Alder Lepper.
Here.
Alder Maldonado.
Here.
Alder Reichstead.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. So next we are in item 4, and it's for public appearances for non-agenda items, a new appointment. Do we have anyone on the chamber for non-agenda items? You're not, or okay.
That is an agenda.
Are you from the appointment? It's a non-agenda? Okay. Yeah, it's for non-agenda. Okay. So next, we have a couple of mayoral proclamations. We have 4 of them tonight. So we will start with the first one, is recognizing May as an Older Americans Month.
Whereas the city of Fitchburg is a community that values all residents, including our older adults who have contributed immensely to the social, civic, and economic fabric of our society, and
whereas the 2026 theme, Champion Your Health, highlights the importance of prevention, wellness, and taking an active role in managing health to lead independent, meaningful lives, and
Whereas older adults deserve to age with dignity, access quality preventative care, and live in communities that provide opportunities for social engagement, emotional support, and mental wellness. And
whereas through the wide array of services, programs, and activities, the Fitchburg Senior Center empowers older adults to contribute to their own health and well-being. And
whereas the Fitchburg Senior Center has been a community partner in ensuring that older adults in our community are able to stay connected, safe, and healthy. And
whereas older adults continue to strengthen our community through volunteering, mentoring, and sharing their wisdom and experience with younger generations. And
whereas it is fitting that we recognize the many achievements of older Americans and reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that they can flourish and thrive in our community.
So now, therefore, I, Mayor Julia Radafrada, along with members of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 to be Older Americans Month, with a theme of Champion Your Health. I urge all residents to honor older adults, recognize their ongoing contributions, and support efforts to promote positive aging and community engagement. This is proclaimed May 12 of 2026. So we have a couple of people from the Senior Center here, so come in.
All the way back to looking over here, smiling. Here we go.
So I want to, here we have with us Jill McComb. She's the director of the Community Recreation Services. It's a new department, but she has been part of the Senior Center for many years, and I want to say thank you, Jill, for all the great things that the Community Center, the Senior Center does for the community and all the volunteers here. Thank you for being here tonight. So do you want to say something? How we're going to celebrate?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the Commission on Aging board members as well as the Fitchburg Senior Center Friend board members. It's nice to have an opportunity to recognize older adults, as I like to say, and the contributions that you all give to the Senior Center by volunteering and the commitment that you have. And so I appreciate you being here and representing and all the work that you do. Also, what we do annually to celebrate Older Americans Month is we highlight those that are 90 and older. And so on Friday, we have a big event. We sent out 100 invitations. We usually get about 30 seniors that are 90 and older and just give special recognition to their contributions to our community. So thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you. Okay, the next proclamation is recognizing May 11 to the 17 of 2026 as Police Week and May 15 as a Peace Officer Memorial Day in the city of Fitchburg. Yeah.
Whereas law enforcement officers are essential members of the public servant community who have accepted a solemn obligation to protect human life and property, to uphold the laws of this state, and to serve the citizens of their communities with fidelity and courage, and
Whereas the city of Fitchburg is proud to be served by a police department whose officers patrol our neighborhoods with professionalism, restraint, and commitment to the people of this community. Fitchburg officers answer calls into uncertainty, danger, and chaos, and return to do it again the next day. And
whereas Wisconsin is not without its grief for the state's 283 fallen officers, whose names are engraved on the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Memorial, stand as enduring testament to the cost of this work has asked of real people and their families across more than a century. And
whereas across the nation in 2025, 111 law enforcement officers lost their lives in the line of duty, a number that represents 111 individuals who left for work and did not return home, 111 families who bear a loss that no recognition can fully address. And
whereas the Congress of the United States, by joint resolution, has designated May 15 as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the surrounding week as National Police Week, calling upon the people of this nation to observe these days with fitting ceremonies and reflection. And
whereas Peace Officers Memorial Day serves not only to honor the fallen, but to renew the covenant between those who serve and those who are served, built on accountability, trust, and the shared understanding that public safety is a responsibility communities and officers carry together.
So now, therefore, I, Julia Arata Frata, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, along with members of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11 to the 17th of 2026 as Police Week and May 15 as Peace Officer Memorial Day in the City of Fitchburg, and call upon all residents to join in recognizing the service and sacrifice of peace officers everywhere, to flag at half-mast on May 15, already passed, and to extend to those who serve the city to respect and honest partnership that enduring public safety demand. Is proclaimed today, May 12th. So.
Everybody in close. Here we go.
I want to say something.
I'd like to thank the council and mayor, especially Alder Lepper, for bringing forth this proclamation for all of our police officers, not only in the city of Fitchburg, but all across the nation to be recognized during Police Week. And what was stated in the proclamation, this is really to recognize those 111 officers that had paid the ultimate sacrifice last year and will continue. It's an honor to serve the community and to serve alongside all the dedicated police officers that we have here at the city of Fitchburg.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Drew, do you want to say some more? No? Okay. Jake, do you want to say some words so that we could see you move forward with the solution as a police officer?
No, I'm very thankful for the work that you all do, and I make fun of the city administrator because I applied to Fitchburg PD back in the day and I was not hired. So I do not meet the standards that you all meet, clearly. But yeah, I'm very thankful for you all and the work you do all year long, and this was a very small thing that we could do to recognize you, and I appreciate the mayor supporting it. So thank you.
Okay, so this one is one. So next one is designating May 17 to the 23rd of 2026 as an Emergency Medical Services Week in the city of Fitchburg.
Whereas emergency medical services professionals, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, first responders, and the dispatchers and medical directors who support them form an indispensable part of the public safety and healthcare continuum, providing skilled, compassionate care the moment of a person's need is most acute, and
whereas these professionals arrive not into controlled environments, but into the unscripted reality of human crisis, and are asked to make consequential clinical decisions under conditions that would unsettle nearly anyone, armed with training, judgment, and the expectation that they will get it right. And
whereas the city of Fitchburg is served by Fitchrona EMS, a municipal district established on September 11, 1977, that has grown over nearly 5 decades from an all-volunteer service operating out of a donated garage into a full paramedic level operation staffing 3 stations around the clock, and that today responds to over 5,000 calls annually across the cities of Fitchburg and Verona and the town of Verona, while also providing paramedic intercept to neighboring communities. And
whereas the city of Fitchburg is served by EMS professionals whose daily work reflects both technical excellence and genuine commitment to the people of this community, and whose contribution to resident safety and well-being runs alongside and in close coordination with local law enforcement, fire, and hospital systems. And
whereas the demands of this profession carry physical and psychological cost that communities do not always see and do not always adequately address, and that honest recognition requires acknowledging not only the service rendered, but the toll it exacts. And
whereas the 2026 national theme, Improving Outcomes Together, reflects the understanding that excellent pre-hospital care is not the work of any single individual or agency, but of coordinated systems, sustained investment, and communities that treat their EMS workforce as the essential professionals they are. And
whereas in 1974, President Gerald Ford authorized the National EMS Week to ensure that the contributions of these professionals would receive the public recognition their service demands, a tradition now in its 52nd year.
So now, therefore, I, Julia Arata Frata, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, along with members of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17 to the 23rd as an Emergency Medical Service Week in the City of Fitchburg, and call upon all residents to join in honoring the emergency medical services professionals who serve this community and show up when we need them the most. So this is proclaimed May 12, 2026. Okay. So let's have a...
Sure, as I mentioned, right, I brought all my friends with me tonight, unlike everybody else. And the reason being, right, because all of our crews are out right now. So I always love to share it. I am the mouthpiece and the face piece and make sure they have the ability to do their jobs. But right, it's the staff and the people who are truly out there, right, literally right now, out there helping people. So thank you all as the council for recognizing what they do, what we do, and for our continued support.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, this is for you. Okay, so the last one. Okay, so is recognizing May 2026 as a National Bike Month, May 15, 2026 as a National Bike to Work Day, and May 31 to June 7 of 2026 as a Wisconsin Bike Week. Okay. Oh, we are going to start with Dave. Dave, can you start? Because
that would be great.
Yeah.
Whereas the bicycle is an economical, healthy, convenient, and environmentally sound form of transportation, an excellent tool for recreation and enjoyment in Fitchburg's scenic beauty, and
Fitchburg was recognized by the League of American Bicyclists as a silver bicycle-friendly community in 2015, 2019, and 2023, and a bronze BFC in 2012, and
whereas Fitchburg ranks first in the Midwest and sixth in the nation in bicycle-friendly businesses per community, recognized by the League of American Bicyclists with 35. And
whereas in 1956, the League of American Bicyclists established May as National Bike Month and has designated May 15, 2026 as National Bike to Work Day, and the Wisconsin Bike Fed has declared May 31 to June 7 as Wisconsin Bike Week in 2026. And
whereas Fitchburg's comfortable, low-stress system of trails, paths, and on-road bicycle facilities, including the unique Velo Underround, the confluence of 5 state and regional trails, and its new B-Cycle e-bike share system attracts bicyclists from a multi-state region each year, providing economic, health, transportation, tourism, and scenic benefits. And
whereas creating a bicycling-friendly community improves residents' health, well-being, and quality of life, grows the economy of Fitchburg, attracting tourists, improves traffic safety, supports student learning outcomes, and reduces pollution, congestion, and wear and tear on our streets and roads. And
whereas Fitchburg adopted bicycle and pedestrian plans in 2008, 2017, and 2026, and
whereas Bike Fitchburg, the Fitchburg Chamber Visitor and Business Bureau, the Wisconsin Bike Fed, and the Bike League, and many other organizations will be promoting bicycling during May and June 1st through the 7th, 2026, and year-round to attract more visitors to enjoy our local restaurants, hotels, retailers, and cultural and scenic attractions. And
whereas these groups are also promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation and providing safety education to reduce crashes, injuries, and fatalities, and improve health and safety for everyone on the road. And
whereas the 2026 theme of the Wisconsin Bike Week is Bikes Build Community.
So now, therefore, I, Julia Arata Frata, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, along with members of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim May as a Bike Month, May 15 as a Bike to Work Day, May 31st to June 7 as a Wisconsin Bike Week in the City of Fitchburg, and urge all residents to begin and continue a bike riding habit and support bicycling in Fitchburg and throughout our region for all its economic, safety, transportation, and health benefit. This is proclaimed today, May 12 of 2026. Okay, so do we have anyone from the bike group? Well, we have Bill. Yeah. Bill and Joe.
and some only when it storms.
You guys can yeah, I only read when it's about to storm wildly.
Everybody in.
Go 1 mile.
Hi, everybody. So I'm on the Bike and Pedestrian Committee, been on it since it was Bike Committee. I was actually on it when I was a resident. Steve Arnold appointed me in 2017, and I love biking. I think everybody should be able to do it, and we should build infrastructure so that not just the hardcore folks like Bill can get out on the road and bike. So I think our commission has done an excellent job in promoting bike safety, bike lanes, bike paths, B-cycles. I'm just really proud of also the advocacy of Bike Fitchburg, because they really have pushed making sure that not only we're meeting kind of that silver status as a city, but also making sure that it's a place that people really enjoy biking. And I think you can, ask residents around and they'll really appreciate that, the accessibility of biking throughout our city. So.
Move to. He's active in the Terra Vista HOA. Those of us up here on the dais have gotten emails from him about other city-related issues. So I was very happy to see, Josh, you finally put your application in here. There was a couple different spots I think you would have been fantastic at, and I think this one will lend itself well to your time and talents. Just looking forward to having you able to advocate for the entire city beyond even your neighborhood here and make a difference across our 35 square miles of roads and paths that need some improvement. So looking forward to having you here, and as I mentioned, I will second the nomination.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, here none. All those in favor of Josh Olson to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried. Okay, congratulations, Josh, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next one is I am recommending Dana Bellebon for the Police and Fire Commission. Her term will expire on April 21st, 2031. So I have a couple of people that they want to speak first.
Oh, sure.
Oh, Dana, you can speak, and then I go. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Dana Bellebon. I am a resident of Fitchburg and the former County Board Supervisor for District 33. I want to give you all a good understanding of my experience working with law enforcement. I have worked with law enforcement since 1995 when I started in property management. I started with properties throughout South Central Wisconsin and especially worked in the Allied neighborhood. We did a lot of coordinating with law enforcement in that space. This was in the late 90s, including starting a property owner and tenant union where, again, law enforcement was deeply involved. I was one of the very first properties that had a neighborhood office in the Allied area for law enforcement so that they had a space to be able to connect with the community because community connections is very important. So that was through the 90s. Again, in property management, you work a lot with law enforcement. So I got to know a good portion of MPD, a good portion of all the cops I worked with throughout the state because I was the manager across South Central Wisconsin. When I started working for Porchlight, I did a lot more intensive work with law enforcement because we had people with a lot of very specific needs. So when they were starting out the mental health officers in the city of Madison, we did a lot of coordinating with mental health officers to talk about what was needed for the residents and what that looks like. So from there, I started as the executive director at the Rape Crisis Center. I have been there for the past 7 years. In my role as the executive director, I do a lot of coordinating with law enforcement. So let me talk about the state level. On the state level, I am on the Attorney General's sexual assault response team. In that space, I am also the only trainer that the DOJ uses to train law enforcement throughout the state on trauma-informed care, on sexual violence. I have written parts of the handbook that is given to police from the DOJ and how it is that you deal with survivors and especially survivors of color. I also, on the local level, so as a county board supervisor, I was picked one of 12 elected officials across the nation out of thousands of applications to be on the Core Justice Network, where we worked with elected officials across the nation to look at racial disparities in our criminal legal system. We had county executives, county board supervisors like me, sheriffs like the Cook County Sheriff, as a part of that 2-year study that we did a deep dive on racial disparities. In that space, we did a lot of conversations with law enforcement across the United States. We did a lot of conversations with research scientists. So truly a deep dive. In addition, I presented at national conferences on behalf of Dane County and the work that we have done in our criminal legal system and the work that we have done in our communities, not just in Dane County, but in the communities within Dane County on policing and the advances that have been made specifically in Dane County. And one of the things that I found out as I was talking to people across the nation is that our county is doing a lot of things right, which was why one of the things that when we came back with was the community court. So I was the co-chair of the community court committee to bring community court here to our community. That is a restorative justice court that works with law enforcement and with the DA to make sure that we are looking at restorative ways around smaller offenses. And that is one of the ways that we are looking to reduce racial disparities throughout Dane County, which we know has some of the largest in the nation. On a local level, I am the chair of the Sensitive Crimes Commission. I am the chair of the Dane County Sexual Assault Response Team. I am the co-leader of the DV and Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Community Coordinated Response. All of those systems have law enforcement, and we work together on a day-to-day basis. In addition, I coordinate services with law enforcement for survivors throughout Dane County. I help law enforcement throughout the state come up with policies and procedures and how it is that they work through with survivors. I also train all Dane County Sheriff, Madison Police, and everyone that comes through the Madison Police Academy on trauma-informed care and how survivors should be treated and questioning, and we work on the legislative committee on the state end, talking about standard operating procedures. So I have spent literally the majority of my professional life working with and coordinating with law enforcement, because they are a part of the solution for everything that it is that we are dealing with on the social service level. They cannot be left out of the conversation, and I have always included law enforcement in the conversation. If you would like to reference the letter that was sent by our sheriff, Calvin Barrett, who talks very explicitly about the coordination that we have done over the last 5 years. Now, do Sheriff Barrett and I always agree? We do not. And that's okay. You don't have to agree, but you do have to have conversations. And one of the things that I am very good at is having conversations and coming to agreements. And I'll use the Consolidated Jail Project as an example. There were many people that had many different views on that. And what I was hearing from my constituents here in Fitchburg was, we need to make sure that the cost does not continue to inflate. Now, I did not want to give more money to the jail on any level. That was something I'd even run on. But the constituents said, this is starting to cost us a lot of money. And I had many folks who were families of persons who were incarcerated in that facility who said, we need to have a facility that our people can be in and be safe. So from that point, me and Calvin sat down and talked through all of the things. And then I talked to people in my district. I talked to activists. I talked to formerly incarcerated persons. I talked to victims. And we came to an agreement. Now, was it something that everybody was happy with? Well, there were pieces that everybody was okay with, and there were pieces that made some people go, I grumble at that. However, what we did was we came to a consensus, and we passed a jail consolidation plan that then stopped our taxpayer dollars from increasing every month. So I am used to hard conversations. I am used to being able to look at things on both sides. And I have been a trusted partner for many law enforcement officials for the last 30 years.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have a couple of people that want to speak, okay? And then I will ask the council for any question and comments. Okay, so the first one is going to be, I'm going to call Tom Clowder, who wishes to speak in opposition of this appointment.
Sure looks familiar. Thanks to all of you for serving. Appreciate it. Tom Clutter's my name, 2583 Norwood Street. Been in the city 40 years. I actually wish to speak to the alders tonight, especially those on the right side of the aisle here, because the left side, they know me. They already know who I am. They've served with me before, but I really like to speak to the four of you. I'm a member of District 4. About 2 years ago, we were building a police department, and I was in the room. It was in this room. We tried to bring people together, and we did, and the price was brought down, and it was brought down probably for a good reason. I don't agree with the way the building was built without a range, but you're talking to a retired cop. I'm not only a retired cop in Fitchburg, but I was a former mayor. As long as you already heard from the individual who's applying for this, I was also a part-time officer in Oregon and part-time for the U.S. Marshal. And when we had this meeting here about 2 years ago, it was out of hand. There was screaming, there was pounding on drums, there was whistles. If I was mayor, it wouldn't have happened. But the fact is it really got out of hand. And Dana was part of it. She was part of it that night. I was here. I saw it. She also is part of Freedom Inc. What I'm saying, look it up. And for people that are watching tonight, look it up. She was part of Freedom Inc., and she made it very clear that she wanted to defund the police. Okay. It's very tough on our officers for morale when you hire the people you do. They know who they are. They know who you're hiring. They know who you're putting on the Police and Fire Commission. If they use deadly force, or if there's a misconduct in office, the Police and Fire Commission may judge them. And I had a couple officers call me today and wonder why this appointment was even happening. For this side of the aisle, I hope these alders over here ask the mayor in the future, who else was on your list? The mayor has a right to appoint this person. Absolutely, she does. Who else was on the list? Morale is very high. Morale, as far as I'm concerned, right now is very low in the city. You want police officers to leave? Appoint a person like this. I was also on the county board 10 years. You know, I've had a stint in Dane County. I know where she's coming from. But at the same time, please, think about this before you appoint somebody. And you know what?
Tom,
you can
your time is
disagree
up.
with the mayor. I had a lot of people that did that. You can disagree with her. She better still respect you, and I think she will.
Mayor, we're about a minute past the time.
Thank you, Tom, from your comment. So now I am calling Colleen Chase. She also wishes to speak in opposition.
It had been abided during this whole issue of no cop city. Mayor and alders, thank you for the courage and sacrifice of Fitchburg law enforcement professionals in your proclamation. This is National Police Week. The essential services provided by our police are performed around the clock. They answer the call when residents are in their most critical times of need. They even continue their mission to serve and respect the community in the face of anger and hostility. Befitting this week of recognition, they deserve our gratitude and respect. Thank you, Alder. In the spirit of the proclamation to renew the covenant between those who serve and those who are served, I admonish you as a council to set the record straight. Fitchburg supports and prioritizes our law enforcement professionals. To that end, as a council, you also must recognize the obvious conflict of interest with someone serving as a board member of a venomously anti-police organization functioning in the role of a PFC commissioner. In winter 2024, Freedom Inc. launched a smear campaign against police in Fitchburg. They declared that Fitchburg should be a no-cop city, and to this day, they publicly continue to promote the nonsensical defund the police movement. Their agitators repeatedly slandered our police department on social media, hurled vitriolic accusations of rape and domestic violence, and ambushed our officers with insults for even being cops. Failure to meaningfully address this scar will exacerbate the existing challenges to retain and recruit qualified officers and command staff. The ramifications of this candidate's affiliation as a board member of Freedom Inc. and public assertion that Fitchburg is over-policed cannot be overlooked. Absent an apology for the heinous performances orchestrated by Freedom Inc., it is tantamount to the city of Fitchburg endorsing anti-police rhetoric. If Common Council votes to approve this PFC appointment. Even though they run into danger as others run the other way, please remember those heroes in uniform are human. We should also thank them for solving the murder of a bicyclist in Fitchburg. It's important to keep streets safe for bikes and important to keep the city safe for all. And I do appreciate your work with the Rape Crisis Center and your acknowledgement that that apartment you owned required lots of police assistance, enough to warrant that they had their own office in the building. Thank you.
Okay, I am calling next Cheryl Strassman. Oh, you are only registered in opposition, isn't it? Okay, okay. Okay, and then I will call Rita Henricks. She wishes to speak in opposition, I imagine.
My name is Rita Henricks. I've been a Fitchburg resident for 20 years. Interesting that tonight the city recognizes the work of police. At the same time, you are very possibly going to send a message to our police officers and to other firefighters and other city employees that they don't matter. You won't be supported. No one wants bad employees, and the role of the Police and Fire Commission, which is supposed to be separate from the council, is to make sure we have that. But if we do not have people on there who have not already prejudged police as terrible human beings, or even less than human beings, then we're making a terrible mistake. I was at that meeting where the police building was being discussed, and I was harassed, and no one cared when they were snapping behind me, and it was very obvious that they were snapping behind me, trying to distract me. It was, some of the things being said to some of us in the audience was absolutely insane, but it was okay because they were anti-police and they were organized, and they flooded this council meeting. What are you saying to our police officers? Who will want to work here? Who'd want to put their life on the line to protect us? Recently read in the paper, media, that there have been child porn, that there's been murder solved. Do we want police officers, or are we going to say, oh, we really don't want police officers? What are you saying to them if you're not willing to put fair people on the council? And no matter what someone says, and I know some of you have said, oh, I love police officers. I have family that are police officers. I'm sorry, I have police officers in my family. I know what some of them go through. They have been spit on. Why? Because they took a job to try to protect people. Why is that okay? Why would we hate people just because? Sure, there's probably some bad police officers out there, but there are bad doctors, there are bad teachers, there are bad in any profession. And to blanket the whole of them and say we shouldn't have them is absolutely ridiculous. And this appointment is nothing but a slap in the face of police officers. Thank you.
I also want to mention that we received today a letter of support from Sheriff Calvin Barrett in support of Dana Pellebon for this appointment. So I'm going to put that for the record. Okay, so do we have, okay, Alden Maldonado.
I move to nominate Dana Pellebon to Police and Fire Commission, and I'd like to speak.
Okay, we do have a second.
Second.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Pellebon, would you approach the front? I have a couple follow-up questions. So I just went online and I looked up the summary of duties, and just for the public, I want to read off what the Police and Fire Commission does. The board shall have duties prescribed in Wisconsin Statute 62.13 to appoint the police and fire chief, approve written protocol on hiring, promotion, suspension, detention, and determination to approve or disapprove the appointment of any subordinate by the police or fire chief. Additionally, to distribute all rules relating to the examination and qualification of police officers and firefighters, conduct examinations for appointments to the police or fire department, to suspend, reduce in rank, or remove the police or fire chief or any firefighter or law enforcement for personnel for cause after hearing charges filed in a board in accordance with the procedures of Wisconsin Statute 62.13, line 5. So I know that our staff liaison is our human resources director. I sit on our personnel committee, have for the past couple of years. What I didn't hear you address was your experience with human resources.
Absolutely.
Can you please speak to your background in hiring and terminating and disciplinary actions?
So I have spent since 1997 supervising employees up to 100 plus employees, where I have both hired, fired, and have created personnel handbooks. So I have extensive experience. And I'm also wondering if I get an opportunity to set a couple of records straight, being that there's been some things stated about me that are untrue.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first and foremost, one, I am no longer a member of Freedom Inc.'s board. As a board member, my job is fiscal oversight and management of the executive directors. That meeting that is being referenced, I was at the beginning of the meeting for a proclamation, and then I left. Please review the video because I was not in attendance. Instead, what I had done was have 2 to 3 hours meetings with our chief about this particular issue, because I was the county board supervisor at that time. And him and I had a really great conversation. And I sent the Common Council a letter that detailed very specifically what I had issue with for that space. As a board member for Freedom Inc., I was not aware of the action that was going to happen. As a board member, you are not aware of everything that happens. And those of you who work for nonprofits, as an executive director, I do not tell my board every single thing that I do every single day. So I do need you all to understand that I engaged with that issue ethically, in that I spoke to our chief. I then spoke to several alders who are actually sitting here today. And I wrote a letter that was very detailed and something that I told the chief in advance that I would be doing. Because I do not have conversations, nor do I do things without being very clear about what that is and why that is. It is unfortunate that people did not appreciate how people protested. I have no opinion on that. As somebody who is in public office, I have been the subject of such things, and I understand that it is jarring. That was not language that I used, nor was that language that I approved. And being that people have freedom of speech, they had the right to come and say what it is that they needed to say. Beyond that, I again have a 30-year history working with law enforcement. I have a 30-year history being in spaces where not only have I supported law enforcement, but I have worked with them to find solutions for very tough problems. The jail was only one. That is one over a span of 30 years. And for someone to reduce the incredible amount of work that I have come and done in this community to one meeting that I was not at, nor did I speak at, strikes to me to be an issue with a lot of things that have nothing to do with me. And it is unfortunate that people can just walk up and say things without actualities and without knowledge of where a person comes from and where their experience lies. And my experience is really clear about the work that I have done for 30 years in this community with law enforcement.
Dana, any other comments, questions?
I just I want to echo what Ms. Pelleban said, in that, again, we're emphasizing a board that has a lot of power and has a lot of decision-making ability that goes even above our mayor and council, and that having somebody that has the unique combination of skill sets that Ms. Pelleban has, namely the ability to communicate effectively, I think should be the focus of our appointment. And it's very clear that there's a proven track record of collaboration with both our departments and other departments. There's a letter of recommendation, a glowing letter of recommendation for our sheriff, the top law enforcement official in this county. So I want to just emphasize and urge my fellow council members to consider the qualifications of the individuals that's here rather than, I'll just say it frankly, conducting a witch hunt. I think it's a witch hunt to associate somebody's board membership with actions that had nothing to do with her decisions.
Thank you. Ale Gerhard?
Yeah, the police facility discussion is completely separate from this. It's not relevant. I understand that there's a lot of feelings about what happened in that meeting for good reason, because it was a very heightened meeting, but that is not relevant to what's happening here tonight. And this is not, it's a completely separate issue, and we can have a discussion about that if that's interested for people. But Dana is somebody I've known since as a constituent and as a fellow elected official when she was on the county board. She's a person of integrity. She's got an extensive experience in as a public servant in her professional life and as an elected official. It's impressive what you've done over time. And the other thing about Dana is that she's very data driven. She really takes a look at the facts and comes to conclusions based on what's there. And that was also reflected in Sheriff Barrett's letter. One of the paragraphs I'll just read quickly. Dana demonstrates great leadership, deep understanding, and outstanding communication skills. She consistently takes the time to thoroughly research issues and makes informed decisions grounded in evidence. She's genuinely passionate about our community and especially committed to supporting underrepresented communities, bringing both heart and intellect to every discussion. And that's just one paragraph of a very long letter in support from our Sheriff, Calvin Barrett. Dana would be an outstanding member of this commission, and I think what she shared about her resume, I think, demonstrates that even further, and I'm happy to support her.
Thank you. Any other question? Jake.
So I just wanted to say, I think it's important, like Alder Gerhardt said, that we evaluate this person who's sitting in front of us, not a previous organizational affiliation. I've done work with the Right Prices Center, working with people who have been through some of the most traumatic things that a human can go through day in and day out. It speaks a lot to someone's character and also to a deep understanding of the victims that police officers are going to be working with day in and day out. I think it's someone who understands what police need from their community and what it takes to do the work of policing. I also think it's a false choice to say that you're either pro-police or anti-police. I mean, we put developers on housing committees. To say someone can't be objective because of their role or previously held roles is, I think, not true. And I mean, I've spent my entire career in policing. I stood on the lines in 2020 downtown Madison when people were saying horrendous things about us and me. I had things thrown at me, and I think that that really gave me the perspective that we need people in our community who are going to challenge policing. And I think that the people who are the best advocates for good policing are the people who hold officers to the highest standards. So I see someone here who cares about the community and who's going to offer a diverse perspective. And if I were an officer in the city, I would want someone who is not just going to, blindly follow it's not going to be an echo chamber in creating a committee. And I think that's someone who I see here sitting in front of me. So thank you.
Okay, Donald?
I feel like one of the biggest problems that we see, and not only in Fitchburg, just throughout this nation more recently, is very weaponizing, polarizing rhetoric when it comes to certain positions and people and things that we talk about. And that's fine. Like Ms. Pelleban said, everybody has a right to come to meetings and express themselves and say things, but we need to be very careful when we start passing opinions off or circumstantial things off as sacrosanct or fact. And it's fine for individuals to express their opinions, but we need to make sure when we're coming to evaluating someone, their experience, their qualifications, the roles that they've had previously leading up to this one, and their capabilities about what it takes to be able to do the job, those are things that are very evaluatable. And if we're going to look at things under that manner, then we need to keep the conversation to that. As someone who served on the PFC before coming to the Common Council, all of those commissioners come and do a great job, and they come diligent, ready, and to work with Chief Morales. So I think to pass someone off because of a board situation that they do, that's like saying, oh, well, if something happened at Madison College tomorrow, it was Donald's fault because he serves on the board. Well, no, that's not a board. That's not the board's role in the actual duties of an organization. And matter of fact, if they are inserting themselves into that role of an organization, they're overstepping as a board member because their job is fiduciary responsibility and governance oversight. Usually they have one employee. In this case, for the PFC, it's they are responsible for those duties. But for example, that would have been the board's role would have been dealing with the executive director of said organization that we've been talking about. So I just want to say that because not only do we see that in these meetings, we see it in social media and we see it in other places where everybody can just say whatever they want to say sometimes. But if it was somebody sitting up here on this dais, it'd be a problem. So I just want to keep things in perspective, and we can disagree, that's fine. But I think we should keep, when we're talking about qualifications and these things that are very objectionable things, we should keep that intact.
Thank you. So who's next, Bill?
I just want to say that it's exceedingly rare that we could have somebody in our community with this much relevant experience, expertise, and knowledge and want to serve on the board or on our committee. I've got nothing but good things to say about you. Every time I've had an interaction with you, it's been positive.
Thank you. Anyone? Logan.
I just want to ask our candidate here to respond to one thing that also came up that you didn't respond to earlier. There was an assertion made about your ability to come in an unbiased fashion and not prejudge outcomes that come before the commission. So I just wanted to ask you, kind of point blank, if that is something that you feel you are able to do if you are appointed to this commission.
As somebody that works with both victims and harm doers, I do it every single day, yes.
And that was going to be another comment I wanted to make too, was I also am a big believer that actions speak louder than words. And I think the actions that you've laid out from the past 3 decades or so of professional work would seem to indicate to me that that response is in line with a pattern and practice of behavior that would be well suited to a commission. And I'll also just say I think it's important for our commissions to have varied makeups, whether it's the Parks Commission or the Board of Public Works or the Police and Fire Commission. I don't appreciate when everybody's all in the same kind of that echo chamber. I think we need to serve our communities effectively. We need voices that are different from each other and that bring different perspectives. Because just like our communities, we have folks with different lived experiences. We have folks with different biases. We have folks with different political affiliations and leanings. And I think if we get in the habit of picking people who only agree with a majority of the folks sitting up here at this dais on any topic, we don't have a rich discussion, and the outcomes that come out of these meetings and these committees and the commissions aren't as well-rounded as they could be. So that is not a comment on one specific individual. That is a comment more broadly on my philosophy that I don't think everyone in the room should be 100% in agreement 100% of the time, because in the real world outside of these 4 walls, that is not reflective of the community. So I want our commissions and committees to be made up of folks who have different experiences, whether they have served in law enforcement or have represented and worked with victims. I think there needs to be somebody in the room who has those different characteristics, and it seems like the candidate before us today, based on the extensive resume that we are reviewing, has those qualities in spades.
Thank you. Micah?
Yeah. I'll first acknowledge, thank you people in the audience for coming to speak. I appreciate having people come here no matter what and talk about, a lot of times we have an empty chamber. I appreciate you coming. I had a conversation with Ms. Chase this afternoon just about this in general, and I appreciate having conversations and continuing this. And so thank you for coming. There's 2 things I want to touch on in terms of this nomination. One is your experience with the Rape Crisis Center, which is an organization that I've supported for a very long time. And this is this position is mostly tasked with hiring decision. That is what you're going to be spending your time on. Yeah. And to bring that perspective into that room and be asking questions of people that we are potentially hiring from the perspective of victims of these crimes and knowing what they have been through and where they're coming from and how that can factor into hiring decisions of who we put on our police force, I think is extremely valuable. And then just the second thing that I will say is I'm going to read a part of Sheriff Barrett's letter too. I was already planning to. While we have not always agreed on every topic, we have always maintained a deep mutual respect. We disagreed on ideas and positions, never with each other as individuals. In my humble opinion, this level of professionalism matches the values of the Fitchburg Police and Fire Commission. I am not a better judge of character for the Police and Fire Commission than the Sheriff of Dane County is. And so I respect his opinion and what he wrote in this letter greatly. And so that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments? Dave? Okay.
I don't know you, Dana, personally. I do know that when we were having the fire station and we were going to different districts, and I went to most of them, and the one you were at, you made the point that the city wasn't doing any outreach to African Americans. And I brought up the point. I said, that's not true. I went down the door to door in my neighborhood, handed out flyers, talked to everyone I know, and they didn't come. And you made the comment, well, they don't know you or whatever. And I found that very off-putting. That, well, they won't listen to someone like you. I'm engaged with that neighborhood nearly every day, whether it's stopping to talk to the mothers on the way, my bike while they're waiting for the buses, or after school, and just, well, they won't listen to you, someone like that. And then you dove into that, oh, we're just arresting, your arrest records are horrible, you're racist, you're arresting too many young black men, which was not true. And I found that troubling. Secondly, can't hide from that meeting. I realize you weren't here. You approved that bus coming down here. You can't hide from that. And I'll also add, I've had 3 or 4 officers call me already and say, we're questioning our future here if we have to come discipline in front of you. And I'll quote from that meeting. You can't hide from that. I realize this wasn't your comment, but the one when they were asked to provide their address. I'm not giving you my address because Fitchburg police are going to come and rape and kill me. A resident, that is on record. I am not, you can't make this up. And it was a big cheer from the crowd of Freedom Inc. people here. And it's still, residents are still mad about that. And I'm sorry, you were part of it. You helped organize bringing the people. I know you didn't. You certainly didn't tell them to say anything so horrible. But it was part of it. You can't hide from that. And I also, Dana, you were on the DEI ad hoc. You only made 70%. You made 7 out of 10 meetings, and then you got in an argument and resigned. I question you. You're a very busy, accomplished, professional woman that's done so much in her life. Why would I think you'd have time for this too? And it's mainly discipline and hiring. The police don't, our officers don't want to come before you a disciplinary hearing or something like that. So, I don't have any angst against you, but I don't feel you should be in this. You should be in this position. The city still has many scars from that meeting, and to try to separate that and say, "Oh no, that's a separate issue, Gabriella." I'm not buying that. People are still mad about that, how that went down, and you can't deny. You're part of it. You helped organize bringing that crowd here. So
I have not. I did not, and there is zero on any level evidence that I have. Again, as a board member, had nothing to do with it. I didn't even know that they were going to be here until I got here. So for your understanding of my place in that, I had zero place in that. And I was up front and across the board. And here's the reality, Alder Herbst, there were not black people at those meetings. There weren't. And there weren't black people at those meetings because there hasn't been sufficient outreach to those communities. And that is correct. And I'm sorry, as a black person, if someone that I don't know comes to my door and says, "Come to this meeting," I may not come. And the reality is that you did not want to hear anything other than your narrative. But as a black woman who is in these communities and does talk to these communities, that is what they said to me. I too was a Fitchburg elected official that was deeply engaged with the black community, and that was their input. And I'm sorry that you didn't like what their input was, but they did not feel engaged about that meeting. They have not felt engaged, and this was back 2 years ago. Now, since then, I know that there's been a lot of things that have happened, because those were things that Officer Morales and I talked about engagement and being in community. And those were some of the advice and the words that I gave to him. So I'm sorry that you did not like the feedback from the community that I come from, but that was the feedback. And it was evidenced by not having any black people at any of those meetings. That tells me something. When you have a variety of city meetings and there's no people of color.
I object to your hubris that the residents, Africans, Americans, don't know me in the neighborhood. I've lived there 37 years.
Okay.
I've been there 37 years.
Hold
on, I just have to say something real quick.
I am in charge of the meeting.
Go ahead.
And please raise your hands if you want to speak, okay? Okay. Dave, do you want to finish your comment?
I'm just saying, I think it's hubris on your part that they won't listen to you. I'm with those mothers. I'm doing things with them in that neighborhood, and I spent a lot of time encouraging them to come, and they chose not to. And you're saying, well, it's because a white guy knocked on the door. I find that morally reprehensible. I'm a hardworking alder, harder than anyone that's ever been in that district, and engaged in that neighborhood. And don't try to dismiss me. I've had it with that.
Okay. Who is next? Donald, and then you, and then we are going to wrap up this.
Okay, yeah, we can wrap this up, but this is an example of what I was just talking about. And you want to talk about hubris. You just said that she did something as far as a member of the ad hoc equity committee that did not happen. You were not at any of those meetings or involved in any of that. So this is what I'm saying. Like, if you want to just get out here and just spew comments, that's fine, Alder Herps, but at least have some type of fact behind what you're saying before you directly look somebody in their face and tell them that they got in an argument with someone at a committee meeting and they quit. That didn't happen. And that's all I want to say. And that's what we need to stop doing. It's okay for if you want to just pass that off as opinion, but don't get on the record, look someone in their face and tell them they said something or did something that they didn't do.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing I want to mention about that is Dana joined that committee after 7 months, and she was there covering someone that left, and then she, and so this was at the last of the commission, and then when we formalized the committee, she didn't apply to be in the committee, so I want to be on the record. Okay, Gabriela, and then.
I work for a nonprofit. The board does not direct me what I do as a staff member. The board has nothing to do with the day-to-day work of an organization. At a nonprofit, that's across the board how it works. It's like the boards will make a report later on what happened, but they do not direct staff to do things. They do not direct members to do things. The people, I will just acknowledge that meeting, I was there that night, it was rough. And there were a lot of things said that should not have been said. I don't believe they were true of our police officers. Our Fitchburg police have integrity. They are good members of this community. They serve our community well, and they didn't deserve some of those comments that were not. They were directed at them, but they were not about the Fitchburg police, because the Fitchburg police is a department of high integrity. And I think people being upset after that meeting is valid. I understand why you are. There was a lot of things said that were hurtful, and I think that will linger for a long period of time. That meeting was hard. But that meeting has nothing to do with this appointment tonight. Dana did not direct that meeting. It's just wrong. It is completely incorrect. It is false. So I just want to separate that. I think it's okay and it's valid to be upset about that meeting. And honestly, you should be. There's a lot of things that happened that were upsetting. But people had the right to say that. People have a right to say incorrect things. That happens all the time in this chamber. People come up here and they say things that are wrong. Like, you have freedom of speech. You have the right to do that. And there's a right to be upset about what happened, but that is completely separate from this.
May I say one thing? I'll be very quick.
Yeah.
It's one thing for people in the public to say things that are incorrect, and I think Ms. Pelleban corrected things that were inaccurate from members of the public. That's understandable. Sometimes people don't get their facts correct. For elected officials to do it is, I think, a problem. So the fact that there was a false accusation about your direction of buses to a meeting, to me is reprehensible for an elected official to do. I also think saying things from former mayors who have also commented in previous meetings and said inaccurate things about me in the past, that I passed a pro-Hamas resolution, or to say things on your public record about our applicant is also a breach. So I think when we think about facts and accuracy, we should make sure that we hold our elected officials and former elected officials to a higher standard.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion on the table, and what I want to say is I move forward Dana application forward because she was highly recommended. She has working in the Dane County community. I work in the Latino community. You work in other organizations that we share sometimes spaces. You are highly regarded as a impeccable reputation working in Dane County. So I want to say thank you for all you do with the Rape Crisis Center. I know that work because the company I work, we are associated with you. The other thing I want to mention is I received some comments today about like the PFC set up policies for the police department. No, this body set up policies for the police department. The PFC is only appoint the police and chief fire, and then approve and disapprove, discipline, hire police officers, firefighter. This is the main role. They don't set policies for the police department. This body does, working together with the police department. And I want to tell you that this body, this council, fully support our police department. We have a great group of people here in the police department. So, and because we are bringing someone with a different opinion, perspective, it's okay. We need to have those people on the table. Challenges us to make us, like you mentioned, Jake, sometimes upholding to a better standard. So, this is what I move forward this application. So now I need everyone to, we're going to vote. So, we have a motion. Yeah. So all those in favor of the roll call? Okay, let's do roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhardt.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Nay.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Latase.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Thank you, Dana, and thank you to everyone who came and provided their opinions. Thank you. Okay, so next we move to the consent agenda.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Who is that? Oh, okay. For what is this? Oh, okay. Okay, so administrator's report, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're coming soon.
I'll be brief. I've got about 9 items to cover. First, several are events that are upcoming. Tomorrow morning at 7:45 a.m. is the Fitchburg Focus hosted by the Chamber. That will be at the Fowler Event Center, or also known as Blue Plate Catering in the Jamestown neighborhood. Wealth Distribution Strategies will be hosting a ribbon cutting and 20th anniversary celebration on Thursday, May 14th at 4 p.m. Grace will be doing a Dementia Village groundbreaking on Wednesday, May 20th at 10 a.m. Monday, May 25th, Memorial Day. The annual Memorial Day program will be taking place beginning at 12:15 p.m. with music, and the program beginning at 12:30 p.m. That'll be held at Veterans Park at Gorman Wayside. I just want to let the council and community know that utility replacements that have recently been approved for the Belmar and Tower Hill neighborhood will begin by the end of the month. The plan is to start in the Belmar neighborhood first, and then move on to the Tower Hill neighborhood. And of course, repaving will be done shortly after the utilities are replaced. A brief update on the Fitchburg, Oregon Shared Development Conversation. The Oregon Village Administrator and I recently met with Jason Valerius from CARPC. Jason is currently working on creating a new contract with an updated scope of services for the continued conversation related to that possible shared development area. In regards to the fire and EMS district conversation, obviously the Common Council recently approved a contract in a joint venture with the Village of Oregon for McMahon and Associates to conduct that feasibility study and create an implementation plan for a fire and EMS district. Since that contract was approved by the Common Council, 4 other municipalities have also committed funding to that project and have either reached an agreement or in the process of reaching an agreement to sign a contract with McMahon to participate. Those municipalities are Brooklyn, Stoughton, McFarland, and Monona. We anticipate the project kicking off very soon with a timeline of approximately 5 to 6 months, at which time the Common Council will have an opportunity to provide direction to staff on which steps you'd like to take, if any, moving forward. I also want to advise the Common Council and the community that while, I guess, unthawing, if you will, or prepping the McKee Road, our McKee Park splash pad for the upcoming season, a handful of underground leaks were detected. Some of them are underneath concrete, so we'll need to be bringing in some assistance to determine exactly where those leaks are in order to isolate them and minimize disturbance of concrete and other things. It is possible that depending on what we find, the splash pad may be delayed in opening, which would be on Memorial Day weekend. We'll be sure to keep the community apprised of any changes to the planned opening Memorial Day weekend. And then finally, as a reminder, there is a special Common Council meeting next week on May 19th at 6 p.m. in regards to the TID 17 amendment. Any questions?
Dave has a question.
Chad, this is the second year in a row. You know, last year we had some water froze and broke something. Can you find out, are we winterizing that thing? You know, we get the air compressor down there and blow everything out. I'm just concerned it might be a maintenance thing, putting it away at the end of the year. I don't know, but I'll just ask the question.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking the question. Knowing the diligence of our parks maintenance team, my initial reaction would be is that I do not believe it to be a maintenance issue. I do think that, we were just talking about this during the CIP process, the splash pad is it 12, 13, 14 years old at this point in time, and it's aging. And at some point in time, and you may see it depending on the mayor's CIP project to replace those components that are needed, obviously, to allow that splash pad to function. But I will reach out to Joran and just confirm the winterization that takes place. But again, knowing Joran and his team's diligence, I'd be really surprised if we're neglecting the winterization there.
Okay. Thank you.
Logan, go ahead.
On the subject of parks and winterization, I'm just curious. I saw a comment on Facebook the other day about when the drinking fountains will have the bags taken off and be ready for use. It seems like we keep getting these random frost advisories, but do we have a date, weather depending, that we hope to have those activated for the season?
No date. Again, staff will be.
I can speak to that, Chad, if you would like.
Oh, sure, go
Eric
for
is
it.
here. Okay. Okay.
Staff is working on it this week. So this week they're pulling stuff out of winterization and getting everything ready. So I would have full expectations unless there's.
Okay. Okay, it's back. He's back. He's back. Oh, okay. Okay.
This week it sounds like.
Okay, this week. Okay. Any other question for Chad? Comment?
I just appreciate that you said unthaw instead of thaw. My husband makes fun of me for that all the time, and I'm like, he's like, that means freezing, and I'm like, no, it means thawing.
I'm glad I could help.
Yes.
Just a comment on that for Micah and Eric. You know, May is a month we have two full moons, and it's most likely, you know, you get a late frost. It's on that, and so May 31st is the full moon in May, and then we'd probably be past that warning. So just keep that in mind. Or I tell people planting their gardens too, you gotta watch out for that. If you have a full moon late in May, that'll get you, or early June, either way.
This is why I haven't started my vegetable garden yet. Okay, any other comments? No? Okay. So my mayor's report, I forgot my mayor report in my office, so I'm going to try to say what I remember. So CIP, we continue working with the CIP. It has to be out by June 4, isn't it? Approximately. So so we are working on that. After this, I would say I invite all the council members to after we put the draft out there to come and talk to me. If you have questions about that. This Friday, I don't know. You mentioned that because I wasn't listening to you. Sorry. I was looking.
I appreciate your honesty.
I was looking for my mayor report. So, bike to work with the mayor on this Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I invite you, all the bikers, to show up at 7 o'clock
At McKee Farms Park.
At McKee Farm Park. I have done that since I became mayor, so it's a great opportunity. There are a lot of people that comes. You mentioned the EMS and fire consolidation. I also assisted last week at the League of Wisconsin Municipality Board meeting in Wisconsindale. So if you want to know more what the League is doing and our priority for 2026-27, please reach out to me. Tomorrow is the Dane County City and Village Association annual meeting. I send you the invite way back. I don't know who is coming. Gabriel and Bill, thank you, and Donald. It's tomorrow at 5:30 in Middleton. And then tomorrow night is the Police Department Ceremony Award at 7 o'clock here. It's here. Or it's in the senior? 6:30? Well, I saw 7 o'clock. Okay. But everyone is invited. And then this Saturday, Gabriel and I will going to Playcon to celebrate the 60th anniversary. I don't know, Playcon is a company here in Fitchburg. It's on McKee Road, okay? So we are going to go there. They invite us, and I'm going to bring us a proclamation. The other thing I want to tell this to all the Fitchburg residents watching this meeting. Okay, summer is here. And a lot of people are outside. A lot of kids are on bikes. A lot of people are on parks. A lot of people are walking the dogs. And please don't speed. I have seen a lot of people speeding, going like crazy, more than 25 miles per hour in our neighborhood. Please, it's summer. A lot of people are out there. There are events, and the soccer league is playing in McKee, and there are plenty of kids there, and car parks on the streets, and people coming and kids coming and crossing the road. Please, slow down. Because it's becoming crazy. I noticed that last week and this weekend, so we need to maintain our cities safe, please. I have more stuff, but I forgot. So you have any question for me right now? Okay. Thank you. So then we're moving to item 8, is Commission and Committee report, and we will start with Plan Commission.
We meet next week on Tuesday.
Thank you. Oh, and remember, next week, did you say that? Next week about the
special council meeting before the Plan Commission next week.
Yeah, please.
So don't forget.
Don't forget.
Don't forget.
And then we are going to start with Board of Public Works.
All right, I will go ahead and move approval of Resolution R9726, amending the 2026 Tax Increment District Number 10 and Capital Projects Fund budgets for Bus Rapid Transit.
Second.
Board of Public Works approved.
Finance approved.
What is this?
This is BRT North-South line in Fitchburg, and I am going to let the experts take over. We have with us tonight our own transportation engineer, Ross Kaler. We've got Mike Chiquala from Madison Metro, and online we've got Mick Rush, also from Metro Transit.
Okay, and I have someone who wishes to speak first. Can we call? It's only 3 minutes. I will call Rick Smith. He wishes to speak and answer question if needed. Yeah, so we got 3 minutes. So go ahead, Rick.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Rick Smith, a citizen of Fitchburg and member of the Transportation and Transit Commission appointed by Mayor Julia in 2024. I'm compelled to speak on this resolution not as an opponent of BRT, but as one who has open questions and concerns about whether the $5.7 million capital investment is the right decision for the city of Fitchburg. As a brief comparison of today's Route B service and BRT, I offer the following. Bus B has side-running buses. The now diminished BRT plan for Fitchburg has side-running buses. Bus Route B operates on a variable schedule with frequency around every 15 minutes. BRT would be more precisely every 15 minutes. Bus B today reaches south to Caddis Bend and has been requested by city staff to continue to Triverton Pike, using the wheel tax revenue for the additional cost. BRT will travel the exact same route. Ideally, today Bus B would continue to the city campus, including the library, city hall, and senior center, but it does not, and neither will BRT. Today, Bus B has more stops, often with simple signs on sidewalks open to the elements. A significant improvement with BRT will be partially enclosed elevated shelter stations and easier access on and off the bus, albeit with a reduced number of stops. Recently, Madison Metro has refused to accept Fitchburg's request to extend Route 65 and Route B to meet at Triverton Pike beginning August 2026, for which, as noted, the cost is funded by the wheel tax, which was implemented last year. During my time on the Transportation and Transit Commission, I have yet to view ridership numbers specifically for Fitchburg, and much of the ridership data which is available from Madison Metro is 12 months old. Of note, Madison Metro cites their BRT Route A being up 56% in April 2025, while Route B was up 110%. So the already redesigned north-south non-BRT route outperformed the east-west BRT. As I said at the beginning, I'm not opposed to BRT, but I'm uneasy about the level of capital commitment required by Fitchburg and the lack of discussion about alternatives, such as simply continuing Route B as is or investing in enclosed shelters at the existing stops. The Board of Public Works was barely in favor, voting 3-2, and Finance, which just met hours ago, did vote 3-0. I was somewhat surprised that the Transportation and Transit Commission was not asked to vote on this resolution. The BRT investment only serves 2 of the 4 districts of the city, leaving districts 1 and 3 without the prospect of enhanced transit. At $1.5 million, it was conceivably a good opportunity to leverage grant funding and make improvements to the infrastructure. At $5.7 million, is it too much? And at what point would you draw the line at an increased capital investment? I do not envy your position, as I believe our partnering with Madison has us between a rock and a hard place. By voting no, we may imperil the entire grant fund award, while voting yes will encumber the citizens of Fitchburg with substantial additional debt, loss of flexibility in the use of TID funds, and a BRT project which looks to the casual observer as being substantially like the bus service we already have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rick, for your comment. Okay. Ross.
So I'll start off with introducing this resolution, and then happy to answer any questions on anything that's been said so far. So what's before you today is a budget amendment to fund the North-South Bus Rapid Transit Project, which is a joint project between City of Madison and City of Fitchburg, and will cost approximately $180 million. In my memo, I have $170 million. When Mike read it, he corrected me that it's approximately $180 million. This project is also expected to be partially funded by USDOT Small Starts grant program. Project is currently at 60% design and is undergoing NEPA approval and has a risk workshop scheduled for next week, May 19th through the 21st, which basically allows the Federal Transit Authority to view their risks for funding the project and how the project is coming along. If that Small Starts Grant is awarded, 70% of the project funding will be from the federal government, and about 30% of the funding will be local. That's both from Fitchburg and the City of Madison. And the U.S. Department of Transportation requires the local funding to be allocated before they will award the federal funds. So that's addressing the timing of why this budget amendment is before you right now. Addressing Fitchburg's previous financing for this, in 2025, Fitchburg allocated $1.5 million in the CIP. That $1.5 million was based on an 80% federal funding share and 20% local funding share. Those numbers were also based on construction cost estimates from before East-West BRT was constructed. Since that time, the federal funding share has been reduced to about 70%, and East-West BRT has been constructed, so more accurate construction estimates are available, and that's what we're using at this point, is the actual constructed cost of East-West BRT. Of the 33 BRT stations on Route B, 4.5 of them will be owned by Fitchburg, the McKee Station, Cahill, Maine, High Ridge, Post, and 1/2 of the Greenway Cross Station. The McKee and Cahill, Maine stations will be single platform. McKee will be northbound only since it's the endpoint of the route and the charge point for the buses. And then the Cahill, Maine station is a center running station due to the confined nature of that site. The 3 stations on Fish Hatchery Road are side running, so there will be smaller stations on each side of the road as opposed to one single large center running station. So with those more accurate construction costs and the more accurate federal cost share, Fitchburg will be responsible for $5.7 million on this project, and subtracting the $1.5 million previously allocated, that's how we arrive at the $4.2 million total budget amendment for this project. Happy to answer any questions on the kind of Fitchburg portion of this, and then Mike and Mick are here to answer questions relating to Metro, and then any questions for the actual Fitchburg finance part of this. I believe Misty is on Zoom as well.
Misty's going to explain the funding sources for Fitchburg. It's Misty?
I can, no problem.
Yeah, go ahead, Misty.
So, yeah, included in the TID-10 project plan was that 1.5 million that Ross mentioned. 750,000 of it was identified as within the boundaries, and 750,000 was identified as within the half mile of it. Because we do have to call those out specifically. Now that we have these updated costs, there was that chart in the memo, and there's a pretty significant increase all over the board. So the portion that's within the TID boundaries, that increase we can absorb within other lines within the project plan. The portion that would be funded by just general obligation borrowing and repaid by property taxes is at the discretion of the council. And then the portion that is within half a mile of the TID boundaries, since it's such a significant increase from what was included in the project plan, we really should go back to Joint Review Board and just make sure that they're okay with that additional cost. We have a scheduled meeting on June 24th as our annual meeting, so we will bring it up for discussion at that point. Assuming that they'll approve it, this resolution will kind of stand on its own. If there becomes some controversy there, then we would have to come back to council and get authority to change that borrowing. So I'd still borrow for it, but it would be repaid with property taxes rather than TID increment. So we're kind of moving forward as though it won't be a problem, but have that caveat that there is an extra step that we have to do procedurally.
Okay, thank you. Question, Logan.
All right. A couple comments first while I'm thinking of any other questions that come to me. I think that investment in bus rapid transit along the Fish Hatchery corridor is the latest step of our investment in the long-term health and development and prospering of that corridor. We've seen what's happened with private investment along East Washington Avenue as bus rapid transit has expanded. We're starting to see it here in Fitchburg with the Bowman Plaza development that we recently approved. And even if the service improvements are the bus isn't coming every 7 minutes, it's still every 15. The increased visibility, the increased prevalence of the shelters and that speed makes it that much less of a barrier for a casual bus rider to hop on and give it a try and then realize, hey, it saved me $10 a day in parking downtown, so I'm going to keep doing this. As we have Bowman Plaza and other larger developments moving forward and already built in that corridor, I think that makes it extra important that we move forward. I also wanted to just this serendipitously worked out well. Rick, I'm glad you were able to share your perspectives here when I said earlier that I don't want commissions that all have groupthink and say the same things all the time. Rick, you're a great example of that, and you always ask great questions at TTC. And as a almost daily bus rider, although of course I drove today, but I certainly have a bias toward public transit. So I just want to say here's a perfect example of us practicing what we preach, and I appreciate having the difficult questions asked in that level. I guess one of the challenges that I've been struggling with is moving forward with a project as we have already allocated money for bus improvements that we still haven't gotten. That we were told originally, we were starting to think, January 1st, we'd have this expanded bus service with the current Route B and 65 and 75. And then we heard August. And since it's May and we haven't heard anything, I assume that's not happening. So I'm a little bit, it gives me pause. Not enough that I think would vote against by any means, but I would certainly love to hear from our Metro folks, since you're kind of a captive audience here this evening, what your plans are for our continued partnership in this, should we decide, regardless of this, but especially because of this, what our continued partnership looks like long term.
Logan, this topic is not in the agenda, so we cannot discuss that.
Even though this is the only time we've had Metro
We
in the
can
room?
invite them in another meeting. But we have that concert. I have that concert too, so you can address that with an email, a letter to us. Okay, we will appreciate because we have been promoting that for many, many months. We need to provide an answer to our resident. So you can provide that information with an email to us, okay?
We are discussing a time to have them at COW as well. So that's we're working on that.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah. I guess I would push back a little bit because we're talking about spending more money on transit and extending the Route B to McKee and to Triverton is something that we've talked about already having before we get to the BRT. So if we're trying to decide if we want to spend more money and we're not even getting what we've already previously allocated, I guess I would push back a little bit and say that it's not directly on the agenda, but it is a step in the direction of these future plans that we're looking at tonight. So I would argue that it is relevant to the agenda, but I guess I think the mayor, you make the call on that one. Is my understanding of Robert's rules correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I have a question because I received, a couple of comments from neighbors about this. So if we already have the frequency, okay, coming to Fitchburg in the Fitchburg corridor, why do we need BRT? Okay, why do we need to invest $5 million when the buses are already coming through the corridor? This is a question that it was asked by several residents. So I am, the messenger here, okay? So if you can explain in lay terms why this is important, why we're doing this. I know why, but if you can explain that. I think you covered some of that in your intro, Ross. But
yeah, so I think Alder Reichstad also covered some of these points as well already. But the better recognition from non-transit users that there is a major transit route on Fish Hatchery Road, and especially coming down to McKee Road now with this BRT expansion. These stations will be much more visible than our current concrete pads with bus signs that you can just kind of drive past and not even know are there if you're not familiar with the transit system. These stations will also be easier to use and be less intimidating for non-transit users. There's a lot better signage for when the bus is coming. You don't have to know that there's a transit app on your phone to know when the next bus is. There's a sign right in the station that says that a bus will be coming in 8 minutes or 15 minutes, or that it's delayed, or whatever the case may be. Also, there being less stops actually increases the efficiency of the bus route. If the bus has to stop less times, there's less chance for delays. And the additional charger on the south end of the route at that McKee station is also very important to the bus availability issues that we're seeing with some of the all-electric buses that already run on the B route. That charger will basically allow the buses to run all day, north and south on the B route, where now they have to run a few runs of the B and then go back to the bus depot to charge. So having the charger on the north end in Madison and on the south end in Fitchburg is a very important part of this project.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know. Do you want to add anything else?
Sure. If I could just give a quick description of bus rapid transit. So I'm Mike Czechvala from Metro Transit. Thanks for the introduction. Bus rapid transit is kind of in the family of high capacity transit modes that you see in a lot of larger cities, light rail, subway, commuter trains, and bus rapid transit is a cousin of those types of modes that are designed to have higher capacity, higher speed, easier of use to encourage people to use the bus or the train or some kind of public transit mode designed to really be attractive to a lot of people and get a lot of people on the bus. So bus rapid transit consists of a couple components. One is the running way, which is the bus-only lanes. Another is the frequency with service coming every 15 minutes or better. And then the other major one is the amenities, the stations. The raised platforms that are level with the floor of the bus allow people to just walk on and off really fast and a lot more easily, a lot more efficiently. The real-time signs, as Ross mentioned, heat that's available in the shelters in the winter when to keep people. Yep, it does have heat. Some of the other lighting information and all that stuff that you kind of expect in a rapid transit station. So what's kind of happened in Fitchburg, which is similar to what's happened in Madison, is we've kind of brought these pieces online in phases, and we've kind of done the easier ones first. So we have bus lanes on Fish Hatchery Road because they were built decades ago, and then when Fish Hatchery Road was reconstructed, they were maintained, so that was good. Those facilities are in place. We already have the bus lanes. We don't have to spend the money that we had to spend on like East Washington and East Washington to build bus lanes. So those are already there. The 15-minute frequency was implemented in 2023 with the transit network redesign. So that component of BRT was installed in 2023. And so now we have kind of the what I'll call the harder part, which is building the infrastructure, the stations. And so that's kind of the final but a very important component of the bus rapid transit product.
Okay, thank you. Question. We're going to start with Dave, and then with Gabriela, and then who else?
This comment, thank you, Rick. Outside the box thinking. I know that's the kind of guy you are. At Public Works, Alder Jetzer pointed out, the distance between the stations is quite a bit longer. There's longer walks, which I acknowledge. I would tell you from a District 1 standpoint, right now, as it stands, there's 1.3, no more than 1.3 million that, you know, the taxpayers, District 1 gets no benefit from that. Our service with the bus redesign was decreased in District 1, and the residents are angry about having to pay for, you know, the fish hatchery corridor. So I'll be voting against it, and I'm not, you know, Alder Jetzer made the point to me, he said, well, you got to pay for other things in other parts of the city. Yeah, that's always been the case, but those existing things, I think this is different. If you want to make a comparison, it would be the comparison I'd make is, you know, I've been paying for the library over here in District 1 and we've gotten nothing for that. So if you want to move ahead with it, put a surcharge or whatever on the area that's going to use it, because District 1 doesn't get anything and it has had our service actually decreased.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Gabriela, and then I have Micah, and then Joe, and then I will make some comment too.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I appreciate Rick's comments as well. I mean, I thought a lot about this too. It's like, should we invest in this given the expense? And to put it into context, like $5.7 million, that's not nothing. And obviously that's a big increase over the last one, but we have a very, very low debt burden in the city of Fitchburg, and we have very cheap debt. We are AAA bond rating. Our last bond issuance was like, I think 1.5%. Misty, correct me if I'm really far off, but we have very inexpensive debt. And so it's a good use of money when we are able to, and we can leverage debt, and we are able to do this, you know, and we are paying such a small proportion of what the total cost of the project is. And to just, the more I think about it, to just like not do it for the very end of the line. And when you really still have to do the termination point, we would have to do the station at Triverton Pike so that you can put in charging infrastructure and bathrooms. Like, that's almost like a non-negotiable for the system broadly. And we cost share that with Madison. It's not entirely on us as a city, because it's for the network broadly. But I think it's an important investment. And this is a really dense area of Fitchburg. A lot of high density projects are focused there, which makes sense, right? Because it is on a high frequency bus line that brings you into one of the employment centers of our region. And it's going to be used, I think, a lot by people that are just going for a basketball game at UW. They're going to go to the farmer's market and they don't have to take a car. They can just hop on the bus. And I think that that visibility, or the airport, the visibility of it, I think does actually matter. I think that will increase ridership. It will increase usability. And that once the bus rapid transit system as a whole is implemented, it will be faster and more efficient. And people will use transit if it's efficient for them. Mm-hmm. They make those decisions where they're like, okay, how long is it going to take me to get out there on the bus? Oh, it's going to take me an hour. Like, I don't know if I can do that. But if it's more efficient and it's going to take them less time, that's going to change the calculation for them. And that's what I think a bus rapid transit system will do. And I think the visibility helps. And in the grand scheme of things, this is a relatively small investment in something that I think will also generate economic development in the corridor. That corridor, a lot of the housing, it's dense, but it's older. And there's going to be redevelopment of that corridor in the future. Like, absolutely. And we can make it more dense and populate. That's a good place to increase the density of Fitchburg, I think. And so having the bus rapid transit infrastructure there, I think will help to further justify that and help develop the city. So I know it's an investment. It's unfortunate that it's an increased cost. The fact that we can get quite a lot of it in TID and that we can get that investment from all the overlying taxing jurisdictions and not just Fitchburg itself, I think matters a lot. And I think it's something that we need, and a place that we're going to see a ton of housing built in the coming years. So I support this.
Thank you. Micah.
We're all going to acknowledge Rick tonight. And I would say I really appreciate your questions. Honestly, when I heard that we were going from center running to side running, my first thought was, well, why are we doing this? And I totally understand. Like, I had all of the same questions, and I still kind of have all of the same questions. And so, like, I understand that entirely. To speak to Gabriella's point, the person she was just describing is me. Like, I want to go to a hockey game. That is my goal. I want to go to a hockey game, and now I have to drive there, and I have to park in that stupid ramp that I have to sit in for half an hour to get out of. And that is what I want to do. I want to get on the bus, and I want to go down to a hockey game. And I also want to go to the airport. And although it stabs me in the heart a little that you're not going all the way to the airport, I can get almost there, and I'm willing to walk the rest of the way. My one question, I guess, is how the one thing that you can really make me happy with is like what is the increase in efficiency in terms of what we are doing now versus what we're doing. So like right now it takes, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes probably to get downtown. And if I want to go to the airport, I don't know, probably 45 to an hour. What's that going to look like once this whole thing is implemented? In that regard, if I'm, starting at the end of the line, say.
So let me address that. So for travel times, that's actually something we're working on with our consultant to right now to understand the travel time savings with the plans that we've laid out, because that's one of those steps that we have to do anyway. But we're trying to nail that down. But with the East-West BRT, the Rapid Route A, we saw a travel time decrease of in the order of about 10% travel time savings, which is fairly significant if you consider, the work that we put into our traffic signals and our highways and things like that to save, seconds, minutes. So it's on the order of minutes. It's not on the order of seconds. It's on the order that we see people in Madison using Route A that didn't use Route 6 or Route 2 or Route A before it was BRT. But I wish I had a different. I wish I had a specific number, but we're working on those schedules right now.
No, you have a case study. So
yeah.
It's East-West. So yeah, I appreciate that. And then yes, this is a lot of money. I agree. I think we'd be having a slightly different conversation if we weren't in the situation with the federal government that we are currently. I think if we had started this project and the federal government said, oh, it's a 70-30 match, we would have been great. It's a 70-30 match, and we'd be doing this project. And now we'd be back because inflation has increased construction costs by a lot, and then we would be talking about that. I think there is a loss aversion and an anger to the fact that it was 80-20 and now it's 70-30, and I think that makes people upset that it's costing us more money and it's being put on us. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I think what is the construction cost is a huge portion of this as well that is bringing this up. And I think this is a worthwhile investment for all the reasons everyone else has stated. And I hope that we actually break ground in 2028. That is my number one hope.
Okay, so next one is, you're done, Micah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Joe.
Just addressing Micah's point and then the other point about getting to city campus. So if I understand from kind of talking to Bill and looking up things, you take the 65 to get down to city campus. And then if I understand the way the route is, I just Googled it on the buses. So would one be able to get from a stop on the North Port, like on the northern end of this, to the airport itself, or would they just be walking?
So let me just describe the route. So the route starts in the north end of, it starts on both ends, but I'll start at the north end. So it starts at the kind of the end of Northport Drive by Northport and Northport, Kennedy, Knutson Drive, that area, and the kind of the very north end of Northport. It does a little loop because that's the way it has to turn around. And then it comes in on Northport. Northport turns into Packers. It comes down Packers. It does an on and off at Aberg, so you can use the ramps to have bus stops at Aberg Avenue. And then it comes down Commercial, North Street, and East Washington Avenue, goes through the Isthmus, through Madison, goes around the Capitol Square, State Street, and then comes down Park Street. So it serves kind of the heart of Park Street, the full length of Park Street, and then goes west on Badger Road, and then comes south on Fish Hatchery Road. It does a little deviation by Caddis Bend and Cahill, Maine, to come off of Fish Hatchery just a little bit to serve that stop on Cahill, Maine. Just because it's just kind of hard for people to get out to Fish Hatchery Road at that particular neighborhood. Comes back to Fish Hatchery Road, and then so this is the extension, is one more stop going a little bit farther south on Fish Hatchery Road to a stop that we call McKee. It's actually on Triverton Pike, which is just one block west of McKee. I think our goal is still to bring local bus service there on routes 65 and 75 to make connections so people can get farther, and our goal is is also to extend Route B eventually down to this area. I think we're all aware of the lift that it's going to take to do that. But this is kind of our goal for the project, and then if we can at some point, we'd like to extend it farther down to here.
So I'll just add with being brief. I support this resolution, but I also acknowledge some of the shortcomings of it, and I don't want to repeat everything other people have said. I also think that as an alder of District 1, right, this doesn't impact us, and that is sad. But I also want to acknowledge that when we make decisions for the whole city.
Mm-hmm.
And if we make decisions to impact one of our neighborhoods, I wouldn't want to pit a district against another district because we're not getting a certain service. Obviously, I'm advocating for services in my district and have been for years, and I wouldn't want another alder from another district not to support it because it doesn't impact them.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we do impact this whole city.
Well said. Okay, so I want to say something before Bill. Okay, so the thing that I want to ask you, council member, is we are making decision for the future growth of the city too. Okay, so you need to think about how we envision this corridor in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, so also we know that there are a couple of projects in the pipeline for this corridor that maybe in the next 5 years we are going to have 1,000 more residents coming to the corridor. And we are making this big investment in public transportation on the transit corridor. We are bringing the density to those corridors, okay? So this is what you need to take in mind when you vote about this, you know? This is something that is a decision for the future too, for the future growth of the corridor, the city. And the other thing that we need to do a better job is educating the people here, especially I am one of them, what we can do with BRT here, you know, where we can go, you know, how to, you know, where if I take the BRT, where is, Cahill, Maine, we're close to my home, you know, what are the places that I can go to Madison, okay? I can go to the Madison market now. I can go to the farmer market. And for me, going to Madison and downtown is parking. How much do I need to pay? Where I need to park? In summer, it's awful to go to downtown Madison because there is construction everywhere, so you don't know where to park. So I am looking at this project with that eyes. You know, all the places that I can go, and if I take this BRT, okay. And I agree with you, Joe, that when we improve one area of the city, we are improving the whole city. Okay, because you know I pay taxes too, and because I am paying for a road in District 3, and maybe it doesn't affect my district resident. You know, this is not how we think and we approve project here. Okay, so I understand that maybe we can look in the future to see how we can connect District 1 resident to the BRT. So they can have the same opportunity to go to all these places that we can go in Madison. But I think this is what my recommendation to you is: look with a long-term vision for growth, and also if we can have a better education on how educate the resident here, because how to start using the bus, where places we can go, how easy it is. Because I remember before I said, I need to buy that car. I don't know where to buy that car, but now I can pay with my credit card. You know what I mean? So all those improvements, to make a riders like me, like a future rider, an easy and enjoyable experience. Okay, that's it. Bill.
And also just to note, the D bus goes through many parts of District 1 and takes you straight downtown.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Bill.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of echo, the economic development opportunities this is going to represent. And like you said, we're expecting an influx of residents, and the more public transit we have, the less Carmageddon we will suffer from. And, you know, having public transit available means fewer people are going to be driving everywhere in their cars. And more people in a given area means we can get, you know, an influx of retail. We can have a truly walkable neighborhood. These are goals that are my dream for the city. Having permanent bus shelters, this is a signal to developers that, hey, we are serious about public transit. And I fully assume that developers are going to come in and they are going to be happy to not build so many structured parking spaces. Those things are exceedingly expensive. And I'll just remind everybody, you know, yes, we've got bus service right now along that corridor. Well, Fish Hatchery Road existed for decades, yet we decided to spend, you know, $22 million of the city's money and another $8 million from the county to, you know, essentially remodel it a few years back. Well, we're doing the same thing with our transit service now, or I hope we are. I think this sends a signal not only to developers, but to people. Young people today don't like driving, and for good reason. It's not fun, it's very expensive, and we suffer at the whim of global powers to decide whether gas is going to be $3 this week or $5 this week. This is I think, of an important step forward in the evolution of our city, and I'm wholeheartedly in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. Any other additional comment, and then we are gonna go to vote.
I was going to add one sentence, and you hold me to that.
Okay.
One thing that has been, I see Ross laughing over there. That's not my sentence. But one thing that has not been specifically called out in this discussion yet that I just want to make sure is elevated is that the move from center running stations to side running stations reduced the cost of the project significantly from what, 25 million to 8 million for the Fitchburg portion.
25 million to 17 million, reduced it by 8 million.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So I think that's important to capitalize and highlight here that this could be more expensive, but we're already taking steps to save money.
Okay, good point, Logan. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if I don't hear any more comments, you know, or question, we need this is a 2/3 vote because it's an amendment to the budget, so we need roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhardt.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Nay.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Regsted.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and thank you, Metro people, for coming. And we are, you know, hope to see you soon to discuss the other.
Mayor, I have to take the rest of my meeting virtually. Got to get the baby home.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay. Okay, so next one is postponed.
Yes, I will make a motion to postpone to a date uncertain Resolution R-10326, approving agreement for subdivision improvements in the plat of the 8th edition to 9 Springs.
Second.
Board of Public Works, postpone this.
Okay, all those in favor of postponing Resolution R-10326, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, thank you. Anything else from the Board of Public Works?
Yeah, I've got a couple of notes here. So this Thursday, May 14th, is the public information meeting for the Belmar and Tower Hill water and sewer utility work, which is scheduled to start later this month. All of our spring prairie burns have been completed, and this fall we'll have another prairie burn in Terra Vesta. We'll be doing the medians. So the medians in the street. So you'll be able to drive up and down the street with flames all around you.
My God.
Hydrant flushing continues through this Friday the 15th. Street resurfacing is set to start late this month or early in June. Remember to check our new road closures GIS map. Very handy. We received no bids on our sidewalk replacement project, so we are going to let that project a second time and hopefully open a couple of actual bids next week, looks like, May 22nd.
Okay.
Wayland Road paved shoulders will be advertised on this Friday. The Sign Interceptor pipe installation is underway. And Tim is on the line. Maybe he can tell us more about the Tower D painting. That should have started last week. I don't know if it has. I haven't been over there.
I checked with Tracy today, and they haven't started, but are looking to start either late this week or early next week.
Okay. And lastly, I just wanted to let everybody know that at our May 4th Board of Public Works meeting, we had a presentation from a representative of the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District. Talked about current projects and everything that's going on. I highly recommend you jump over to our government channel or to YouTube and watch that presentation.
They also offer tours at the Met plant.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
We should have a field trip.
Okay, that's it? That's it. Thank you very much. So next we move to the Park Commission.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, Mayor, I move approval of Resolution R9126, approval of Southdale Park renovation concept designs.
Okay.
Second.
Did Park Commission approve?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell
Just
us
one
what?
second.
Yeah.
Maldonado, can you clarify, are you recommending approval as approved by Park Commission with Concept 2?
Yes. I'm sorry for not clarifying that. We had two concepts.
Yeah.
Eric's going to explain them in depth, but we had two options, and we decided as a commission to move forward with the second option.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Eric, it's all yours.
Yep, so we have two concepts that were developed from EOR. I do also have Rob Stein on the line from EOR if there's any questions that come up regarding those concepts specifically that I can't answer. But overall, this is phase 2 implementation of Southdale Park improvements, with phase 1 being the playground that was installed last year. In those initial concept designs that were drafted in 2024 to plan for park developments, it was determined that splash pad and additional shelters and restroom facilities were a priority in that development. I think this concept, or both of these concepts, do reflect that. To clarify, both of these concepts do have the same features, just varying sizes of features and the cost for them. To clarify, that would be a additional shelter on the border of Deer Valley Road, a splash pad of varying sizes, and then also a full service restroom. This would be a full plumbed restroom that does have either 2 stalls within concept 1 or a single stall in concept 2. So those are the main differences between the features. To clarify, this is a flow-through splash pad design, which differs from the McKee one, which is a recirculating system. So that was one of the changes there. Other than that, concept 2 was the preferred from Parks Commission, and what we're seeking clarification or guidance for at this point is to proceed with the preferred concept for engineering and bid document preparation.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comments?
Mayor, I can just add to Eric's overview. The reason why the commission unanimously agreed on option 2 was because of the larger size of the splash pad. Largely, that was our rationale behind approving that. I think the only upside to the first one was a bigger bathroom, or like more two bathrooms instead of one. But since there's no bathrooms currently in the park, one would be at least a good starting place. The other thing that was recommended to look into was a potential Wi-Fi. So I live right across the street from the City of Madison Allied Park, and that's their first park facility where there's actually a Wi-Fi station. So if people from the neighborhood need to come in and use internet, they can. So I just made that as a suggestion for us to be able to look to as well.
And I think because I watched the meeting, I think it was a bigger shelter too, an option too.
Bigger shelter. Sorry for not clarifying that.
Yep. Yep, correct. So there's a larger splash pad and a larger shelter with a smaller restroom is what's within concept 2. We spoke with Rob. What we're thinking, if Wi-Fi is a desired connection within that shelter, we could include it as a bid alternate when we pursue this project for bidding.
Okay. Micah.
Yeah, I'll be quick. This is option B is a no-brainer for me. I mean, we're bringing a bathroom to a park that doesn't have one currently, and we're trading one solid bathroom for a splash pad that's twice the size and a shelter that's 50% bigger than in the other one. So I wholeheartedly agree and support option B.
Thank you. When this project, if approved, will start? And when it's going to be done?
When it's going to be done, I would probably think early 2027.
Okay.
If we were to go bidding right now, we could probably start some preparations on the project this fall with potential completion or substantial completion in early 27. Rob, can you clarify if that would be your expectations as well on it?
Okay.
Yeah, I think early 2027 is probably the most realistic. I think there's going to be lead times for some of these components of the park, the shelter especially, and the restroom facilities. So I would agree with you, Eric.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gabriela?
The source of the funds, are we using park impact fees for this?
Yes. We are using from the closure of the town of Madison.
Yep, combination, I believe, both park impact as well as some capital funding from the absorption of the town.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Chad is correct. You will notice a price difference in some of these concepts as well. Again, these are construction estimates, so we won't know the for sure price until we do take this out to bid and receive bids for them. Currently, our budget was $400,000 with $115,000 being spent on the playground that was installed in 2025. That allows $285,000 for these proposed improvements. One of the concept or concept 2 is over that. I did clarify with Misty, we would be able to absolve through a budget amendment those funds through received Town of Madison funds.
Yeah, and I think it looks like a great design. Excited to see that park have some new facilities.
Yes, Bill.
Yeah, a couple of questions. So this is a flow through, meaning all the water is going to be directed right into this to the storm sewer, I presume. Would there be any utility in, if space permitted, in putting that into a retention pond instead?
I looked at that and considered it. I don't think it would be cost beneficial to cost to actually do that. Rob, do you recall some of the conversations we had that regarding the retention basin?
Yeah, there was some discussion about it, but I think we talked with city engineering staff and thought that it would have to be discharged into storm or sanitary, excuse me.
Okay. And are we considering putting any solar panels on the shelter to power, hot water, bathroom lights, splash pad pumps, anything like that?
At this point, solar is not included within this concept. I think that's something that if we do want to include, again, we could potentially do as a bid alternate. I don't know if that would be outside of the capabilities. Rob, could you clarify?
We could certainly look into it, and if it's cost effective and a viable option, then a bid alternate could potentially be done. What I don't think we'd want to do is attach solar panels to a pre-designed structure. I think we'd want to look for a structure that is solar compatible out of the box, per se. So we could certainly look into it and see if it's cost effective.
Does the roof of the bathroom qualify for a facility that can hold solar?
I think the square footage of that roof would not be adequate to generate meaningful amount of energy, I think.
Okay.
Okay. And then my last question, I noticed that in option 2, The concrete surface is 20% smaller, but it's 15% higher cost. Can somebody explain that?
What is that?
Rob?
I need to.
It's in option one.
That
it
may
says,
potentially be due. I was going to say that may potentially be due to the colored surface on the concrete on the splash pad, would be my assumption.
Oh. All right, it's 2,045 square feet and 20K for the first option, and then 1,660 square feet, so, 80% as much, but
okay, yeah.
23,500 as opposed to 20,000.
That's a good question.
In my fantasy
I'm not
world,
sure off
those
the top of
numbers
my
were
head.
reversed.
It
at
might
this
be
point, too,
clerical thing.
I do want to provide, again, these are anticipated or expected construction costs. We won't know exactly what the costs are until we do receive bids when we do get to that point as well.
Okay, any other question, comments? This is the last one. Last call. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't say anything before, so I hope that wasn't
Okay,
directed at me.
no, and you represent the district, so go ahead.
I just want to add a couple clarifying points on sentences that my colleagues have made here. To Alder Lattise's point, this is an area where there are already a lot of homes within a very close proximity. The park is kind of surrounded on three sides, or 2.5 sides, if you will, because of the shape of it, by housing. It's kind of right smack dab in the middle of the neighborhood. So I think the one bathroom stall, or kind of bathroom room, if you will, to splash pad ratio is the right call to make. And then to Alder Jetzer's point, we had a conversation at one point about the amount of water that would flow into down into the sewer if we go through this flow-through system. But a recirculating system, if I recall correctly, was it $1 million? It was astronomically more expensive. Would require likely another park staff person, because it'd basically be like running a public pool as far as the licenses and the chemicals and the systems that would be involved. And retention pond, there's just no room for that. If you look at the plans that are before us here, both concepts, we're already asking this small park to do a lot between the soccer field, the playground equipment, one shelter that currently exists, a community garden, another new shelter that's now being proposed, the bathroom, the splash pad. There's just no room left for any sort of retention pond, and I would not want to lose the soccer fields or any other play areas for that.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we are ready to vote. So who moved the resolution? Okay.
And option 2 is on the table.
Okay, everyone is ready? Okay, all those in favor of resolution R-9126, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Eric and Robert.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just want to share another update for parks.
Yes, please.
So I'm sharing my screen, Scott. This will triple for H&I and my district report, but one of our H&I members, who's a District 1 resident, is hosting an event on the last day of school called Popsicles in the Park. It'll be June 11th. We're collaborating with the H&I committee and also Jessica. So it'll be 4:30 to 6 at Hegel Jamestown Park. There's going to be resource tables, popsicles, probably maybe some food trucks, and music. So please come through.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so then we're going to continue with the commission, but I'm going to move Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission first and H&I because Joe needs to leave soon. Okay.
Yeah. So for Bike and Ped, We met earlier this week, and if I can just pull my laptop back up, sorry. I thought it was going after I left, but let me get this.
Okay.
No, it's okay. I'll do it now.
Okay.
For Bike and Ped, excuse me for the delay, my friends. The main things that we discussed were a discussion on e-moto regulations. So when we presented the Bike and Ped plan, there's kind of this class of vehicles. They're called e-bikes, but they're not e-bikes. They're illegal, and they go very fast. So the discussion was essentially waiting on state legislation to change rather than municipalities just all doing it on their own, so that we have very clear guidelines. But for now, that class of bicycles are essentially not legal in the city of Fitchburg. They're not heavily used here, but the city of Verona has had to deal with a lot of use of those and kind of clamping down on enforcement. We also had a discussion on creating policies for biking on sidewalks, so that may come to council soon. We just need to flesh it out, kind of what options that the Bike Commission recommends before we send it off to council. And we also talked about bike-friendly community redesignation, which we're going to continue to revisit in future years. So those are the updates for Bike and Ped.
Did you mention about the sidewalk discussion?
Yeah, so the discussion on sidewalks was, we reviewed different municipalities in Wisconsin and what their policies are on sidewalks. Some allow sidewalks riding below a certain age. Some people had, or some municipalities had it if your buildings are a certain amount of space from the curb. But ultimately everyone had different opinions, and we gave our recommendations to Phil to be able to help put a potential policy together. I think the overwhelming consensus was that we want to keep it simple, so we're not overburdening our staff and our residents with really confusing rules around biking. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else from H&I?
We meet tomorrow, and the same advertisement stands about the popsicles in the park.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Okay, so next we move to the library board.
We meet next week.
Okay, fast. Commission on Aging.
I'm sorry, can I add one more thing? Just want to re-emphasize that on Thursday, the 21st, there is going to be, Thursday the 21st, there's going to be a reading of Eden's Money Magic. So we have a Fitchburg resident here who's a professor at UW. Him and his brother wrote a book for kids on financial literacy. And that'll be occurring on May 21st in the library.
In the library. Okay, what time?
Yeah, let me just pull up the time. I believe
it's June 21st. Is Saturday?
No, May 21st, which is Thursday, and that's going to be at 4 p.m.
Don't get me started on him.
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be dope. They came to one city. His brother couldn't make it, but Quentin did it last week. And the students had a really good time engaging with them. Very personable people. So I think the young people and adults who engage with them will enjoy themselves.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Commission on Aging Donald.
So Aging Committee is beginning to work on the 2027 Dane County budget proposal for case management and nutrition programs. Since hiring a bilingual social worker, the participation by our older Latino adults in the programs and services has increased, which is something that's been an area of focus as well. And then lastly, there are currently programs in effect to celebrate Juneteenth, and then also upcoming Pride Month as well.
Yeah. I saw already there are some event, isn't it, for Juneteenth? Yeah.
Yes, but some of the things are still being fleshed out. So once it's final, I'll bring it back to council and make a formal announcement about the date and time and everything.
Okay. Thank you. Transportation and Transit Commission.
We skipped RCC.
What?
We skipped RCC just now.
Oh, RCC, sorry.
Yeah, we actually met last night. Ben presented on RCC's role in monitoring plan development. So basically the charter for the commission. We have a new member, so she was asking probing questions about just how much control can we exercise here. Various planning events for Plastic Free July, our Green Thursdays events at the library, updates from Ben on various things throughout the city, including the food scrap drop-off site, which is up to 4.5 tons of scraps collected so far. And if I can plug in here, I'd like to show you a chart. I'm plugged in. There it is. Okay, so yeah, you can hardly see that. But this is our shredding and recycling data for the last almost 10 years here. Yeah, 2017 through spring of 26 here. So you can see on the far right, that's what we just had back in April.
Oh,
so
paper.
pretty good numbers. I'm not sure what was happening back in 2018 and 2019, but and even some of this 2021 and 22 timeframe. Yeah,
The TVs were so much bigger.
people clean house. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So we had you can just barely read some of the
Yeah.
numbers up here, but you can see we collected 10,000 pounds of electronics and 11,000 pounds of paper this year, this spring. So, yeah, we have evidently a lot of junk in our city, and this this shredding and recycling event is needed and well used.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you. And I want to say that I watched the meeting yesterday when I was doing my exercise, and RCC group has plenty of ideas and very enthusiastic group of people, and I like all the new ideas that they are going to approach it that you guys are working. So, yeah. Okay. Transportation and Transit Commission.
We meet Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Community and Economic Development Authority.
We have not met since the last meeting.
Okay,
We meet on 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks. Okay, yes. Ag and Rural Affairs Committee.
We meet on May 19th.
EMS.
We meet next Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Housing Advisory Committee.
We meet next on June 8th.
Okay. Landmark Preservation Commission.
No report.
Street Advisory Committee.
We meet on Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Community and Equity Advisory Committee.
No update at the moment. We meet again next week.
Okay, thank you. Report from other commission and committees.
I got a short one from the
Short
MPO
one?
Policy Board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot on the agenda, but it was kind of a long one because we talked about we adopted the active transportation plan for Dane County, which does include an appendix with guidelines for handling e-bikes, scooters, motos, and other electronic mobility devices that currently defy classification.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, and then we move to a standing committees report. Oh, we don't have anything in Finance Committee?
No, I can give
It all went to
I
Public
can give a
Works.
couple short updates, but yeah,
Okay.
we have nothing. Missy gave us the annual report on the ARPA money that we received, and we have currently spent all of the money we received from ARPA. We have to close out some of the grants, but the money is gone. She said we do still have interest that we earned on the money, which is being spent on road projects this year, but should be kind of closed out this year. And then the rate documentation for the rate increase for water utility is currently in progress. So
Okay.
we'll
Thank you. Personnel Committee?
We haven't met recently and no further updates unless Administrator Brecklin, there's been any new movement with our arbitration with the fire union.
Yeah, thank you for offering that. Post-hearing briefs were submitted by the city and Local 311 to the arbitrator on Friday. And both parties have 20 days to file rebuttal briefs. to the arbitrator, which puts us at May 28th. And then after that, the arbitrator will issue a ruling at some point.
Thank you. Public Safety and Human Services.
It is getting to be a busy time of year for sound permits, thanks to the clerk's office for handling so many of those. Couple events and things I'll call out here. The Memorial Day observance will be held on Memorial Day, Monday, May 25th at the Gorman Wayside Veterans Memorial. That will be starting, I believe, at 12:15 with the music and 12:30 for the program. I believe off the top of my head. The only other thing that would be worth or relevant here would be we approved 2 new operator license reports.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business? No. New business, we have a direct referral. Who's going to do that? Bill.
I will do that, yes. I will move approval of Resolution R10526, approving a contract for AMI meter software upgrade.
Second.
Did the Finance Committee approve?
Finance approved.
Board of Public Works approved.
What is this?
Yes, this is the software that goes along with all of our water meters, storms and sewer, sanitary sewer. The software we currently use is expiring very soon, and so we need to migrate to new software. And this is the resolution to do that. We've got a 10-year contract for about $367,000, which is, I believe, where this is projected to cost us less over that 10-year period than the software we're currently using. Tim, did you want to add anything to this?
It is less than what we're currently paying. So in 2026, our current software is about $29,750, and then the first year of this would be $27,000, so about $2,000 less dollars.
Okay. Any question, comments? Here none. All those in favor of resolution R-10526, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Oh, Joe back. The motion carries. Thank you. So next we move to ALDER District Report, and we will start with District 4.
The only thing I have to share is that we're going to have a listening session, but just the 2 of us. Before also having the one with you, Mayor.
Like
but
in the park or something.
I am an inclusive leader. I invite you to my listening session. You are not inviting me to yours.
As a citizen of or a resident of the city, you're of course invited to.
I'm gonna stop talking. I'll let my guests say the rest.
Welcome to politics, all
I think it's June 4th. We just set the date today, so we'll have a location. We'll send it out.
I am joking.
So I don't have a whole lot. I attended with a couple of the other alders, the Smart Growth Building Block Seminar. It was a good discussion. There was a good discussion on the current state of Dane County housing. There was a good presentation on affordable housing. There was some interesting perspectives from some groups around data centers, more from the pro side, I would say, and then some perspectives from developers themselves as well. So it was a good day and educational. I did not protest and attended Kids Building Wisconsin, even though they left us and went to Alliant Energy Center, and they did a good job and it was good there. So it was a good location.
Where did it
I'm
move?
sad to see them go. It was in Alliant Energy Center.
Oh, okay.
And it was a lot bigger.
Yeah,
than they were able
needed
to,
a biggest.
It was good.
Yeah.
And this is late, but happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers in the city and on the staff and on the council. And so that's all I have.
Okay, District 3.
All right. So I also attended the Smart Growth event I also mentioned the Memorial Day event. We already talked about the Scion Interceptor, but if you're seeing lots of pipe and construction happening along Lacey Road and Haight Farm Road, that's what that is, to serve the Uptown Hills affordable housing development that is well underway. If you haven't been by there, it looks great. The one other thing I will add is very exciting. The Rusty Bee Lounge is starting a summer night market series. So it'll be monthly between May and October. The first one is May 21st. I would just encourage you to give their Instagram and Facebook a follow. They've already got, 6 or 7 different vendors lined up for the first one. And they just continue to be an absolutely incredible asset to District 3 and our city as a whole. So can't say enough nice things about the Rusty Bee.
What type of things are being marketed? Is it a farmer's market? Is it a
I
craft?
believe it's more locally crafted wares. So not food necessarily. I have not seen the full. I have seen the full list of vendors, but it escapes me off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You have to go and find out, Alder Herbst.
I occasionally have a beer there. Yeah.
Okay. Donald, anything that you want to add?
No, nothing that no one hasn't already said. Just to echo the happy belated Mother's Day as well to everyone in the district and on the city staff for those. And then, just that there's some good construction going on finally across from me over there in the Fahey Fields.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they broke ground. They started doing some plowing of the land and getting it ready for the foundation to be laid. So
That one is a multifamily, isn't it?
yes.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. District 2.
No report from me.
I just want to remind everybody to show up at McKee Farms Park at 7 a.m. this Friday so we can all bike with the mayor to work.
I see. I hope to see you there.
If I work from home on Fridays.
Okay.
And since we're talking about biking and everybody getting out in the spring and heading into summer, I'll just call back to Mayor Julia's earlier comments about being a good citizen. You may have noticed if you read the May Fitchburg Connect article, there was an article there on bicycle and pedestrian safety, and there was a section on what to do if you're a pedestrian and another section on what to do if you are a biker. Unfortunately, the by far most important section was missing, which is what to do if you are driving a car. Please, when you make a right turn, yes, you will look left to make sure there's an opening in traffic, but you must also look right to make sure that there is nobody in the crosswalk. And speeding is bad, yes.
Richardson especially.
And as you're driving, don't fiddle with the radio or your phone because you might drift into the bike lane, which could cause major trouble.
Thank you, Phil. District 1. Dave, do you want to?
Yeah. Joe mentioned the event, the H&I neighborhood event at Jamestown Eagle on the 11th. We're excited about that. We had the kickoff for our community garden. We have 21 plots, and we think they're all going to be used. And we have some new gardeners, some left, but we have a new gardener. He's from Turkey, so that's the first Turkish immigrant that we've had in our garden. We've had him from all over the world, but he came from a farming background, so I'm excited about him helping me and the other gardeners. So that's all I had.
Oh, good. You should bring some picture when you
Oh,
know.
thank you for that suggestion, Madam Mayor. I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm from the Swan Creek too. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, so last Friday, the Allied Neighborhood Association had a dinner at the new apartments right across from Madison, the Derby. So it was a really well-attended event. I probably counted like 100 people there. That's all I got.
Thank you. So then announcement, I forgot to mention because I don't have my mayor report, that I want to say thank you to the Verona School District for inviting me to an event last Saturday. It was about, it was a LGBTQ fair for middle school and high school kids. It was great to see, all the organizations that are advocating for LGBTQ community, and the support that the Verona School District, and also it was sponsored by the Verona Council. So I had the opportunity to interact with the Common Council of Verona. So I want to say thank you for the invite. Announcement, next Common Council special meeting, remember this, put in your calendar, please, is May 19, 2026 at what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay. And then we have our regular Common Council meeting on May 26th. And then, Gabriela?
Committee of the Whole, we are going to review the CIP process like we do every year, and then also we'll have a presentation about the City Hall renovation.
Oh, good. Okay. And I need a motion to adjourn. Yeah.
Visiting PlayCon, that's in my district. I'd like to come on
12 o'clock.
on Saturday.
You want to come?
I do.
Okay, so I'm going to add you to the list.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any...
I move to adjourn.
To move to adjourn?
Second.
Second. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.